A shy Omega whispered a warning, saving the Alpha King with a scent no one else could detect, the scent of death. The great hall of Blackstone Keep was alive with sound. Laughter echoed beneath stone arches. Silver goblets clinked. Firelight danced along banners bearing the sigil of the Black Wolf crown. Long wooden tables were crowded with nobles, warriors, and visiting alphas from distant territories. At the center of it all sat King Alaric Blackthorn, Alpha King, warforged, unbroken. He wore dark armor even at feasts, black steel etched with ancient runes, his cloak draped like a shadow behind him. His presence alone bent the air. Conversations softened when he passed. Wolves lowered their eyes. No one questioned his rule. No one, except Fate. And Fate stood quietly near the wall. Her name was Elara. She was an Omega. Not the radiant, perfumed kind that alphas fought wars over. She was small, soft-spoken, easily overlooked. Elara wore a simple gray dress, her brown hair braided neatly down her back. She served wine, kept her head bowed, and spoke only when spoken to. Most didn't even notice her presence. That was how she survived. But Elara had learned something dangerous long ago. She could smell death. Not decay. Not blood. Death itself had a scent, cold, metallic, sharp like winter iron. It clung to intentions, not bodies. To betrayal. To murder before it happened. And right now, it was in the Great Hall. Her fingers tightened around the silver tray as the scent reached her again. Stronger this time. Closer. Her breath caught. No, not here. Her gaze lifted, heart pounding, and followed the invisible trail through the hall. Past laughing nobles. Past musicians. Past guards who should have sensed it, but didn't. The scent led to one place. The Alpha King. Elara's knees nearly gave way. She had smelled death before barn fires, before poisonings, before ambushes in the forest. Every time she ignored it, someone died. And every time she listened, she survived. The scent wrapped around King Alaric like a whisper. Someone intended to kill him tonight. Her mind screamed at her to stay silent. She was an Omega. A servant. No rank. No protection. Speaking out could mean punishment. Or worse. But then she saw it. A goblet. Not the one in his hand, but the one being poured behind him by a visiting noble servant. Elara's heart slammed against her ribs. The wine shimmered slightly under the torchlight. Wrong. The scent spiked. Poison. Her body moved before fear could stop her. She crossed the hall quickly, softly, weaving between tables. Her hands trembled as she approached the king's side. Guards stiffened instantly. One reached for his sword. Elara, someone hissed. What are you? She ignored them. She leaned in close, so close her lips brushed the edge of the king's ear. And she whispered, My king, do not drink the wine. Everything stopped. Alaric froze. Because of her scent. It was faint, but unmistakable. Warm. Rain-soft. Omega. And underneath it, fear. Real fear. He turned his head slowly, eyes locking onto hers. Steel gray. Sure. Ancient. You have 10 seconds, he said quietly. Explain. Elara swallowed. There is death in it, she whispered. The wine. Someone poisoned it. I can smell it. The noble pouring froze. The scent exploded. Alaric moved. In one brutal motion he knocked the goblet from his hand. Wine splashed across stone. He seized the noble by the throat and slammed him onto the table. Chaos erupted. Guards drew blades. Guests screamed. The noble tried to deny it, but the poison vial fell from his sleeve and shattered on the floor. Silence followed. Then, the king turned back to Elara. The hall watched. Judge. Waited. You saved my life, Alaric said slowly. Elara dropped to her knees. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't mean to. He knelt before her. An Alpha King. On stone. For what? He asked. For smelling the truth? Her eyes lifted, stunned. The hall held its breath. What is your name? He asked gently. Elara, my king. His gaze softened in a way no one had ever seen. Elara, he repeated. And in that moment, something ancient stirred between them. A bond unspoken. Unchosen. Unbreakable. New moon after the feast. Elara expected punishment. Instead, she was escorted to a private chamber, warm, quiet, guarded. Minutes later, King Alaric entered alone. He removed his crown. You were afraid, he said. Yes, she admitted. But you still warned me. Yes. Why? She hesitated. Because alphas die when no one listens, and omegas die when they stay silent. Silence fell between them. Then he did something no alpha had ever done. He bowed his head. You are under my protection now. Her breath shook. I will not touch you without consent, he added. I will not command you. I will not cage you. Then why protect me? She whispered. His eyes darkened. Because my wolf has already chosen. Her heart skipped. Omegas don't choose kings, she said softly. His mouth curved, not cruel but reverent. No, he said. But kings kneel for omegas who save them. Under the alpha's protection. Elara did not sleep that night. She lay awake beneath soft furs in a chamber larger than the entire servant's wing combined. The fire crackled gently in the hearth, casting warm light across stone walls carved with ancient wolf sigils. Protection. That was the word echoing in her mind. You are under my protection now. No one had ever said that to her before. Not her parents long gone. Not the pack she served. Not even fate. She pressed her palm against her chest, where her heart still beat too fast. The scent of the alpha lingered here. Not overwhelming. Not sharp. But steady. Like a mountain. It made her feel safe. That frightened her more than danger ever had. Wolf faced the king who would not sleep. Across the keep, King Alaric stood at the balcony overlooking the dark forest. The night wind tugged at his cloak, carrying scents of pine, frost, and distant wolves. His hands rested on the stone railing, fingers tense. He should have been furious. An assassination attempt in his own hall. A traitor among honored guests. A kingdom vulnerable. But his thoughts refused to obey. They kept returning to her. The Omega. Small. Quiet. Brave enough to whisper death into a king's ear. He closed his eyes, and her scent rose again in his mind. Rain after drought. Warmth beneath winter snow. It had pierced him like a blade. Recognition. Not desire. His wolf paced restlessly beneath his skin. What? No, Alaric murmured. He had sworn never to bind an Omega to the throne. He had seen what power did to gentle souls. Yet fate laughed at vows. A knock came at the door. My king, his commander said. The assassin confessed. Alaric turned slowly. Who sent him? A rival alpha from the southern ridge. He believed your death would fracture the realm. Alaric's jaw tightened. And the Omega? She's frightened. Guards report she keeps apologizing for breathing too loudly. That hurt more than he expected. Double the guards, Alaric ordered. No one touches her. No one questions her. Yes, my king. When the door closed, Alaric exhaled sharply. Protection was not enough. Not when danger still hunted her scent. Cherry blossomed the Omega who smelled fate. Morning came softly. Elara sat by the window, knees drawn to her chest, watching sunlight spill across the courtyard below. Wolves trained there, strong, laughing loud. She felt worlds away from them. A gentle knock startled her. My lady? A maid asked. The king requests your presence. Only if you wish. Only if you wish. Her fingers trembled. Yes, Elara whispered. She followed the maid through quiet corridors until they reached a smaller chamber. Less grand, more intimate. A private council room. King Alaric stood inside, armor replaced with dark traveling clothes. He looked less like a legend here. More like a man. He turned when she entered. Thank you for coming, he said. She curtsied instinctively. You don't have to bow, he added gently. She straightened, cheeks warming. I wanted to speak with you alone, he continued. No ranks. No witnesses. Her pulse quickened. Sit, he said, gesturing to the table. He took the opposite chair, careful to keep space between them. You smell death, he said plainly. Elara nodded. I always have. Since I was a child. How? She hesitated. Then spoke softly. When someone intends to kill, their soul changes. It sharpens. The scent leaks through. I can't stop it. How many times have you saved lives? She looked down. Enough to know I don't always succeed. Silence wrapped them. You could be a weapon, Alaric said. Her shoulders stiffened. But you are not, he added quickly. You are a warning bell. And warning bells deserve protection. Her eyes shimmered. No one has ever said that. His voice dropped. No one ever should have failed you. Drop of blood shadows close in. The scent came again that afternoon. Elara froze mid-step in the corridor. Cold. Metallic. Wrong. Her breath caught. It wasn't near the king this time. It was near her. Elara? A guard asked. She shook her head slowly. Lock the doors, she whispered. Now. The scent surged. Steel flashed. An arrow slammed into the wall inches from her head. Guards roared. Blades rang. Chaos erupted. Elara backed away, heart pounding, until strong arms wrapped around her and pulled her behind stone. Alaric. His body shielded hers completely. Stay with me, he ordered, voice low and deadly. The assassin never stood a chance. When it was over, blood stained the floor. Elara trembled violently. Alaric did not let go. Breathe, he murmured, one hand firm at her back. You're safe. She pressed her face into his chest without thinking. His scent wrapped around her like a vow. I smelled it too late, she whispered. You smelled it at all, he replied. That's why you're alive. And why they want you dead, his wolf added silently. Crescent moon, a promise spoken softly. That night, Elara sat wrapped in Alaric's cloak. Not as a servant. Not as a prisoner. But as something protected. You can't stay hidden forever, she said quietly. They'll keep coming. I know. And if they capture me, they won't. How can you be sure? He knelt before her again, eyes steady. Because I will move the kingdom if I must. Her breath hitched. That's too much for an Omega. No, he said softly. It's not enough for the one who saved my life. Her heart ached, sweet and sharp all at once. Alaric, she whispered. He stilled at his name. I don't belong in your world. He reached out, but stopped inches from her cheek. Then let me meet you in yours. Their eyes held. Fate tightened its grip, the road between them. They left Blackstone Keep before dawn. No trumpets. No banners. Only fog and hoofbeats. Elara sat astride a quiet gray horse, her hands folded tightly in her lap. She wore a warm cloak fastened with a simple silver pin, the king's sigil, stripped of ceremony. Ahead of her rode King Alaric, cloaked and hooded like a traveler. To the world, he was just another warrior escorting a fragile Omega. To Elara, he was the only reason she was still breathing. They traveled with a small guard, trusted wolves sworn to silence. The road wound through pine forests and frostbitten hills, the air sharp and clean. Yet beneath it all, the scent lingered. Not death this time. Something else. Change. Wolf faced night by the fire. They camped beneath towering trees as dusk bled into night. Elara sat close to the fire, warming her hands. Alaric tended the perimeter himself, checking shadows, sniffing the air like a wolf more than a king. When he finally sat beside her, she felt it instantly. The space between them shrinking. You haven't asked where we're going, he said. She shrugged softly. Wherever is safest. Pause. Do you trust me? He asked. Her answer came too quickly. Yes. He looked at her, then really looked. Not as an Omega. Not as a weapon. As Elara. That frightened him more than battle ever had. Cherry blossomed, the Omega's truth. Later, when the fire burned low and guards slept, Elara spoke again. Alaric. Yes. My scent, it's changing. His body stilled. How? It feels louder, she whispered. Like something waking up. His jaw tightened. Is it dangerous? She hesitated. For me? No. For you, maybe. His wolf surged. Bond. 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 Alaric clenched his fists, forcing control. I won't touch you, he said firmly. Not unless you ask. Her fingers twisted in her cloak. What if I don't know what I'm asking for? Then I'll wait, he replied. Even if it kills me. Her breath shook. No alpha had ever spoken like that. Drop of blood, the ambush. It happened just before dawn. Elara woke with a gasp. The scent hit her like ice. Alaric. Steel clashed. Arrows flew. Wolves howled. Alaric was on his feet instantly, blade drawn, body between Elara and the darkness. Stay behind me, he commanded. She smelled them everywhere. Too many. They're circling, she cried. They're trying to drive us apart. He growled, a sound raw and feral. They won't succeed. The fight was brutal. Fast. Close. One attacker slipped past the guards. Straight for Elara. She screamed. Alaric moved without thought. His wolf surged free. The Alpha King transformed mid-stride, bones shifting, armor tearing, a massive black wolf erupting into the clearing. The enemy froze. Too late. When the last body hit the ground, silence fell. The wolf turned. Gold eyes locked onto Elara. She didn't run. She knelt. Alaric, she whispered. It's me. The wolf hesitated, then stepped forward slowly, carefully. He lowered his massive head until his forehead touched her chest. Her scent wrapped around him, calmed him, chose him. When he shifted back, naked and shaking, Elara wrapped the cloak around him without embarrassment. without fear. Crescent moon, a line crossed gently. They sat together as dawn broke. Elara leaned against his shoulder. Alaric stared at the horizon. I almost lost control, he admitted. I could have hurt you. You didn't, she said softly. You never would. How can you be sure? She lifted her hand, trembling, and rested it over his heart. Because your wolf listens to mine. His breath hitched. That's impossible. She smiled faintly. Then why does it feel so right? The bond hummed between them. Unspoken. Unsealed. Yet undeniable. Where the storm holds them. The storm found them before shelter did. Snow began as a whisper, then thickened into a blinding wall of white that swallowed the forest whole. Wind howled between the trees, sharp and relentless, biting through cloaks and resolve alike. The guards shouted warnings, but Elara already felt it. Not death. Exposure. Cold. Too much cold. Her fingers had gone numb hours ago, her body growing slower, heavier. She swayed in the saddle, fighting exhaustion. Alaric noticed instantly. Stop, he ordered. They found it half buried beneath snow and pine branches, a hunting lodge carved into the mountainside, abandoned but intact. Stone walls. A solid roof. A door that still held. Inside it smelled of old wood and ash. Safe. For now. The guards lit fires and secured the perimeter. Alaric guided Elara inside, his hands steady, his attention unwavering. You're shaking, he said quietly. I'm fine, she lied. He shook his head once. No. You're not. Fire shared warmth. The lodge had only one usable room. One fire. One bed of furs meant for survival, not comfort. Elara sat near the flames, rubbing her arms, teeth chattering despite the heat. Her scent had changed again, richer, warmer, edged with vulnerability. Alaric felt it hit him like a blow. His wolf stirred. Protect. Shelter. Stay. You're freezing, he said. I'll warm up, she replied softly. You won't, he said gently. Not fast enough. She looked up at him. Uncertainty flickered across her face. You said you wouldn't? I won't, he said immediately. This is not about claiming. It's about survival. He removed his cloak and wrapped it around her shoulders, then sat beside her, close enough that their warmth blended, not close enough to steal breath. Minutes passed. Her shaking slowed. Then stopped. She leaned into him without realizing it. When she did, his breath caught. Her head rested against his chest. Her hair brushed his jaw. Her scent wrapped around him, soft, trusting, dangerous in its innocence. Elara, he murmured. I know, she whispered. Tell me to move. He didn't. Instead, he rested his chin lightly atop her head. I won't. Cherry blossom confessions in the quiet. The storm raged outside. Inside, the world narrowed. I was raised to be invisible, Elara said suddenly. Quiet omegas survive longer. Alaric's hand curled slowly into the fur beside her. You were never meant to be invisible. She let out a small, breathless laugh. Everyone says that now. After. I would have said it before, he replied. If I had known you. She tilted her face upward. Would you have noticed me? He met her gaze without hesitation. Yes. The truth in his voice made her chest ache. I don't want to be a reason for war, she whispered. I don't want the world to tear itself apart because of me. His voice dropped. Then let it tear itself apart for us. Her eyes widened. For us. If you stay, he said quietly, I won't cage you. I won't parade you. You will walk beside me, or walk away freely. Her heart thundered. And if I choose you? His wolf growled low and reverent. Then I will spend my life earning that choice. Drop of blood, danger at the door. The scent came again. Faint. Careful. Close. Elara stiffened. They're here, she breathed. Alaric was already moving. Guards shouted outside. Steel rang. The storm swallowed screams. Alaric pushed Elara behind him as the door burst inward. An alpha stepped through the snow, tall, scarred, eyes burning with hunger. The Omega, the intruder sneered. She belongs to the strongest. Alaric stepped forward. She belongs to herself. The fight was savage and fast. When it ended, the intruder lay broken on the floor. Silence returned. Elara stared at the blood, trembling. Alaric turned to her instantly. No, she whispered before he could speak. I'm not afraid of you. She crossed the room slowly and placed her hands against his chest. I'm afraid of losing you. Something in him broke open. He cupped her face carefully, reverently. If you ask me to stop, he said hoarsely, I will. She leaned into his touch. "Don't stop," she whispered. "Just, don't rush." He bowed his forehead to hers. "Never." Crescent Moon the choice. They slept that night entwined, not as Alpha and Omega, not as king and subject, but as two souls clinging to warmth in a dangerous world. No claiming. No marks. Just closeness. Just trust. Outside the storm passed. Inside the bond settled deeper, quiet, patient, unbreakable. And for the first time since fate had whispered death into her lungs, Elara slept without fear.